Africa, a continent of ancient mysteries, untamed wilderness, and places science has barely touched. But beneath the beauty lies something far more disturbing. Phenomena no one has been able to explain, from strange lights in the sky to entire villages that vanished without a trace. Today, we're counting down 10 real African mysteries, each more chilling than the last, starting with the least strange and ending with a case so terrifying it still haunts those who speak of it. Number 10. At first glance, it looks like a dream. A lake so pink it seems photoshopped, but its mystery goes much deeper. This is Lake Retba in Senegal. Nicknamed the Pink Lake, it's famous for its intense strawberry color. Scientists explain that the hue comes from a salt-loving bacteria called Dunaliella salina, but here's the catch. Sometimes the lake changes tone overnight, or doesn't turn pink at all for weeks, even when conditions seem identical. Locals say the lake breathes on its own schedule. Despite being studied for decades, experts still can't fully predict or reproduce the phenomenon in labs. And when researchers collected water samples at different times of the year, they noticed that the bacterium's behavior doesn't always match what science expects. So the question remains, is Lake Retba just a stunning natural wonder, or is something much stranger coloring its waters? Number 9. In the deserts of Namibia, perfectly round metallic spheres began falling from the sky, roughly 35 centimeters in diameter and made of a strange, super strong alloy. These objects left shallow craters, but caused no explosion, no fire, no sound. Over a dozen were found across different parts of the country in less than a year. When analyzed, they showed signs of precise engineering, yet no one could identify their origin. NASA claimed they might be pressure vessels from spacecraft, yet that doesn't explain the uniformity or why they kept appearing only in this region. Some scientists called them man-made. Others weren't so sure. Locals believe they're surveillance tools, not from Earth. To this day, no one knows where they came from, or when the next one will fall. Number 8. Buried deep in the earth of Malawi, archaeologists made a discovery that froze them in place. Human skulls. But not just any skulls. These were elongated, distorted, unlike anything seen before. At first, scientists assumed it was the result of intentional cranial deformation, a ritual practiced by some ancient cultures. But then, they found skulls that didn't match the known patterns. Too smooth, too symmetrical, too anatomically perfect to be the result of binding alone. Some of these skulls had volume increases of up to 25%, with eye sockets wider than any modern human. And yet, the DNA results? Inconclusive. The skulls don't seem to belong to any known tribe in the region. No oral history explains them. No burial sites have been identified. It's as if these beings appeared and vanished, leaving behind only their silent, impossible remains. Are they lost members of an ancient human lineage, or something not entirely human? Number 7. In a remote region of Tanzania, locals whisper about a forest that moves. They call it Mimsitu Unao Safiri, the walking forest. At first, the claims sound like folklore, trees vanishing, trails shifting overnight, entire clearings gone by morning. But over time, park rangers and surveyors began noticing something strange. GPS coordinates stopped matching the terrain. Photographs taken weeks apart showed major differences in tree placement. There was no sign of logging, no storms, no fires, just absence. Botanists sent to investigate reported disorientation and equipment failure. Some even claimed to hear low, rumbling vibrations underground. The phenomenon has never been captured on film, but satellite images show inconsistencies in tree density over time, in a region with no human activity, whether it's tectonic shifts, underground water movement, or something more ancient, more primal. The forest is alive, and it doesn't like being watched. Number 6. It started with a flicker in the sky, then another, then a glowing orb, hovering silently above the trees. In rural South Africa, entire villages have reported strange lights dancing across the night sky. They're not stars, not planes, and definitely not drones. Witnesses describe them as greenish-white spheres, sometimes pulsing, sometimes moving in patterns. Too intelligent, too precise to be natural. They drift just above the treetops, then vanish in an instant. No sound, no trail, no explanation. Local authorities dismissed them as atmospheric reflections. But then came the footage, grainy, shaky, but undeniable. Orbs appearing over fields, changing direction mid-air, and worst of all, approaching homes, then disappearing just before reaching them. Scientists have offered theories, ball lightning, magnetic anomalies, but none fully match what people are seeing. And the sightings continue, silent, frequent, unexplained. Whatever they are, they're watching. Number 5. One morning in Zambia, villagers woke up to find the streets stained red. It wasn't paint, it wasn't dust, it was rain. Blood-red rain. People stepped outside in confusion. Puddles looked like pools of blood. Clothes hanging out to dry were soaked in crimson. When samples were collected, scientists found traces of algae, dust, and iron particles. But the concentration was too dense, too vivid, too strange. It wasn't the first time. Similar rains had been reported in isolated pockets across Africa, always with the same pattern, red water falling without warning, followed by silence from authorities. Some blame desert dust storms mixing with moisture. Others believe it's an omen, linked to ancestral warnings, or something far older. And then there are those who've seen the aftermath. Animals avoiding the puddles, birds dropping from the sky, and people disappearing the very next day. The sky bled once, and it might bleed again. Number 4. In 1986, a deadly cloud rose silently from the depths of Lake Nyos in Cameroon. Hundreds died in their sleep. No signs of struggle, no warnings. Just silence. Scientists eventually blamed a limnic eruption, a rare event where carbon dioxide bursts from deep lake water, suffocating everything in its path. But what came next was even more disturbing. Just days later, an entire nearby village vanished. Not collapsed, not buried, vanished. When rescue teams arrived, they found food still cooking over fires, tools laid out, chairs knocked over, no bodies, no blood, no signs of evacuation. Some claimed the people fled into the jungle in panic, but no footprints were found, no one returned, and no one has come forward claiming to be from that village, ever again. Was it a second gas release, mass hysteria, or did something else rise from the lake that night? Something no one wants to name? The village was never rebuilt, and the forest has taken back the land, as if it was never there. Number 3. The river is wide, calm, almost beautiful. But in South Africa's Limpopo region, the locals refuse to fish in the Olifants River after dark. They speak of something beneath the surface, something bigger than any crocodile, and far more aggressive. Patches of water churn without warning. Boats have been capsized by what witnesses describe as a reptilian mass, longer than a truck, with jagged dorsal ridges, and eyes that glow yellow in the moonlight. Park rangers have dismissed the stories for years, but in 2010, a group of poachers vanished overnight. Only their torn gear was found on the riverbank. Authorities claimed it was crocodiles. Locals disagreed. They said, crocodiles don't drag full-grown men into the water without a sound. Some say it's a mutant. Others believe it's a prehistoric survivor, a monster the river protects. Whatever it is, it watches from below, waiting for something to get too close. Number 2. Hidden in the heart of the Congolese rainforest lies Lake Tellele, a vast, murky body of water surrounded by swamp and legend. For decades, explorers have ventured into this remote region, chasing rumors, not of gold, but of creatures unlike anything known to science. Local tribes speak of massive semi-aquatic beasts with long necks, thick tails, and the strength to topple canoes. Some call them spirits, others swear they're real and dangerous. Expeditions in the 20th and 21st centuries documented consistent eyewitness accounts, sometimes from tribes with no contact between them, all describing the same thing: a creature bigger than an elephant, living in the lake. Scientists argue it's folklore, a misidentified hippo or croc, but no clear footage exists, only maps, interviews, and satellite images showing massive unexplored wetland. No one knows what's beneath the surface of Lake Tellele, but one thing is certain: those who go in don't always come out. Number 1. In a remote region of Cameroon, an entire village reportedly disappeared overnight. Not destroyed, not evacuated, erased. When nearby communities noticed the absence, they sent people to check. What they found was chilling: huts still standing, fires still smoldering, food half-eaten, but no people, not a single body, not a single footprint leaving the site. Authorities connected the event to the 1986 Lake Nyos disaster, where a sudden burst of carbon dioxide killed over 1,700 people. But this village was farther away, too far. And unlike the Nyos victims, no bodies were ever recovered. Some locals believe the ground breathed them in. Others whisper of an ancient force, awakened by the lake's rage. The site was abandoned, the story faded, but the question remains: how can a whole community vanish, without a sound, a trace, or a single explanation?